Shalom Israel. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, yeah, for allowing me to do another lesson. That is Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai, being his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and there's no God beside them. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit, and salutations to the elect whom the Lord hath given his ears to hear. And as it is written, that every morning that the Lord bring his judgments to light. Is it every day or every morning? Zephaniah 3 and 5. The just Lord is in the midst thereof, he will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light, he faileth not. Okay. And I believe I had did a lesson on this a while back, going into how you have Guyana, right? They were considering it, and now as we read, Guyana Brings Digital ID Act into force, launches nationwide rollout. Guyana's Digital ID Identity Card Act has officially come into force, with Prime Minister Mark Phillips confirming the legislation took effect on Tuesday. The act paves the way for the nationwide rollout of new electronic identification system. Phillips said the government has already met the foundation requirements set out in the act. So now the act is, it says Guyana advancing biometric passenger system at CGIA to cut processing time. Okay. And, as it is written, we are not ignorant of this devil's devices, of Satan's devices. You must understand that this is going to be a rollout in all these airports worldwide. Now it says the Guyana government is advancing plans to introduce an automated system identification system at Chetty Jagan International Airport, aimed at reducing processing times for Guyanese travelers. Minister of Public Utilities and Aviation, Deodat Endar, announced on Monday that the initiative forms part of a broader strategy to position Guyana as a regional aviation hub. The system will be supported by the country's national electronic identification infrastructure and will use biometric technology to identify Guyanese citizens upon arrival. Travelers will be able to move through the airport using facial recognition, which will trigger automated gates. We want, when you come off the plane, you walk straight through. The system must recognize that you are a citizen. Your face will appear on a screen. The system will signal the gate to open and you will walk through. And if brothers, for those who have seen Minority Report, you pretty much understand what's going to happen. When remember when Brad Pitt had walked into the mall, he had this Chinese man's eyes, and he was viewed as a Mr. Moto, something like that. It was, as soon as he walked in the store, it said, "Good morning, Mr. Moto." And what's happening over here in the States, right? Which hosts various international airports, is how there's a constant issue with TSA. So eventually, TSA is going to be a no need for TSA with this facial recognition or digital identity system. You see, so again, it's all going into gradualism. Where first they pushed the real ID, now they're going into a digital ID. Okay. And it says the announcement was read during the opening of the Women in Aviation Conference 2026 Alongside the digital upgrades, CGIA's physical infrastructure is also being expanded and modernized as part of the government's aviation development plans. As you think about it, it makes perfect sense how he's going to cause all the world, rich and poor, free and bond to receive an MARK. Because how is the world going to be able to travel to and fro? That's one major thing. That's one major thing that the world does is travel. This is making Guyana a regional hub. You have the infrastructure. That is why you will see we government are investing heavily in the Chetty Jagan International Airport to ensure it is modern. It is modern looking, and the people of Guyana can boast that we have an airport that is truly international in shape and form. And are also disclosed that plans are in place to construct a second terminal at the airport. He added that interest from international carriers continue to grow following a recent engagement in Brazil. Guyana currently hosts approximately 16 airlines, a significant increase from 4 in 2020. These include Copa Airlines, American Airlines, Suriname Airlines, and Caribbean Airlines. You see? So if I'm not mistaken, Copa Airlines is Colombian. Suriname is Suriname, and Caribbean, it speaks for itself. So, yeah, just another avenue that's going to be used, all right, to move the 2030 plans right along. Okay, in 2020, we have 4 airlines. Now we have 16. That means we added 12 new airlines, which is not an easy feat, and more are coming. Efforts are also underway to reestablish regional routes that were affected by the collapse of the LIAT. All right, but that was pretty much it on that. So it says the act paves the way for the nationwide rollout of a new electronic identification system. Phillips said the government has already met the foundation requirements set out in the act. Phillips emphasized that the digital ID system will streamline access to public services and support a more secure, digitally connected Guyana. The EID system sees Guyanese citizens receive a single identifier and complete biometric verification supplied by Veridos. The Caribbean country has also piloted a biometric teacher attendance system ahead of a nationwide rollout. It says the act mandates. Let's see what that's about. Okay, so it says the act mandates the government to appoint a data protection commissioner, establish a secure nationwide database for citizens' information, and implement systems to produce and issue digital ID cards. Registry offices have begun operating across the country, including in Region 2, where citizens can now apply for their cards. Okay, so it's setting things in motion. Things are being set in motion to where all roads lead to you opting in, all right, to this new system. And when you look at I asked the chat, what does digital IDs and microchips have to do with 6G network? All right. And as we should know, as I mentioned before, this goes into the 2030 agenda, the NWO, that is, Novus Ordo Seclorum. So it says digital ID and microchips are deeply intertwined with the development of the 6G network, as 6G is designed to move beyond mere communication to create a fully merged cyber-physical world. Integrating computer, sensing, and AI, 6G is expected to act as the bedrock for a smart Internet of Things, with trillions of devices, including smart sensors, robots, and wearables operate in real time, necessitating secure, personalized digital identities. Okay. And you see they never really go into the microchip part, right? Okay. Let's see. It says microchips. Okay, so it says digital ID, right? This is a summary. Ensures secure, decentralized access for billions of users and machines, giving users sovereignty over the data. And microchips enables high-speed THZ communication, sensing, AI processing, and extreme energy efficiency on devices. In short, all right, and it's going to go from the microchip they have in your physical car to a microchip being in you. So it says, in short, 6G provides the sensing, brain, AI, and high speed data for a hyper connected world. Okay, and again, that you know is one way that the world is connected heavily is through travel. You know, on top of that, you have what trade. That's being done constantly throughout the world. Says while microchips are the hardware that makes it work, a digital IDs are the passport that Salakia. It says that ensure only authorized entities and persons are participating in that environment. Yeah, man. So just a quick hit. You could check out that site. It's called you see biometric update and goes into Guyana brings Digital ID Act into force, launches nationwide rollout. Right? So hey, another thing to keep watching on as we watch the crumbling of this system and the solution for the next to come. All right. We know not to get caught up in all the nonsense. Whereas World War III cannot fully be implemented until that MOTB is implemented. Okay. That's the mediator. All right. To this NWO. That's the catalyst to bring the NWO. All right. A better, stronger world through biometrics and Internet of Things. Okay. Now we don't have to be afraid of terrorists and uninvited guests, so to speak. Yeah, man. So if that, shalom to the elect.